everybody, happy 4th of July. It's early riser 7-1 coming at you from just outside my front door. You can see Cotton peeking out of the door in the background. She's so cute. Yeah, it's been it rained a lot yesterday, which was Monday, the 3rd of July. We got probably 2 inches of rain during a thunderstorm, and it just kept raining. But little humid, little muggy this morning, but not bad. You can hear the birds singing behind me, and you know I love it. Alright, so vision and the way forward for this channel. It's taken a while to where I want to film again. You know, I just wanted a little bit of a break there. Yeah, I'm in a good place, man. I have reintegrated into the matrix with very little issues whatsoever, and I think the lessons that I learned on the trail and the things that I took in the trail already kind of merged, and I'm in a pretty good place, and we'll go through that more as I figure it out more, because like I tell everybody who asks me, everybody wants these nuggets of knowledge, and they're like, hey man, how was the trail? And I'll be honest with you, I don't have an answer yet. I tell them, hey, I'm just still processing it. And I use the analogy of a computer of, man, my hard drive is full, and I'm just trying to make sense out of all the data. So anyway, that's where we're at. So the way forward, I'm going to start doing my post-gear hike reviews, starting with this one today. This one will be a little bit longer. I'm just covering the big 3 today, but I also want to give a little brief, this little introduction. So this video will probably be a little bit longer than the other one, so I apologize for that. But just want to catch you guys up where we're at and give you the status on some things, and then we'll get into the gear review itself. Alright, so, and hey, I actually have an outline here to try to save you some time as well. Try to give you a little bit of time back so we can go support those other guys who are still on the trail, and girls. Alright, so these are things that I'm experiencing, or that I have experienced since I summited on June the 8th. Body recovery. This is a tough one, and I think Nate Karen, aka Kansas, sounds like he's dealing with some of the same issues. And I use him as the example because A, he did the trail faster than I did, and B, he was another big miles guy, and sounds like his legs and knees are giving him fits, as mine are as well. I can't narrow it down to just my knees, but the muscles above and below my knees, as well as my knees themselves, have been rough over the last month. If I sit for an extended period of time and then get up and try to walk, man, like, got that old man syndrome going on. I think Black Alatchin said it yesterday, of got that old man dance or jig going on, and that's what it feels like. It's rough. I have started working out again. I wouldn't say, I'm still taking it easy. My upper body's almost ready to start pushing on into more extreme workouts. My legs are nowhere close. Just doing body weight lunges and body weight squats, air squats, are hard right now. I started taking a recovery drink per the recommendation of our dietitian at work, and our nutritionist at work, and it's called MEND, M-E-N-D, and it's for recovery for your body, and it's got some really good stuff in it, and it's third-party certified, so that's all good things there. It's pretty expensive, but maybe worth looking up. Yeah, so that's where we're at. I'm going to keep going. I think I'll be hopefully about 100% another month or 2. I'm praying. Diet, it's been a little easier than y'all may have thought. I'm really back into my good habits again. I still drink my 2 Cherry Coke Zeros every day. Try to wean myself down to 1 here soon, but I don't see myself giving those up anytime soon, so they're delicious. Other than that, man, eating good again, eating at least 1 or 2 salads a day, eating a lot of good protein, loving life. It's good to be home where you got a full pantry and you can go to Walmart or Harris Teeter or wherever anytime you want, and you don't have to worry about rationing your food out. It's good. I've been back to work now for about 10 days. For those of you who follow me on Facebook, you saw that I was in New York City last week. I was in New York City and Virginia Beach. And it's back to the desk and office life starting tomorrow. But I'm looking forward to it, man. I work with some really great people, and it's good to be around those guys and like-minded people. So it's been great. Some people saw the pictures of me in New York City and were like, man, I bet that's hard. But I'll be honest with you, it was exciting. And even amongst all those people, I felt at home, I felt at peace, and I just enjoyed it. And I was able to stay again in the moment, and really good times. Really solidifies to myself that the time spent on the trail was very, very well spent and well worth it. St Jude donation. Maybe you probably should have started with this, because to me it's the most important thing. So if you're following me on Facebook, you saw that my post yesterday that we just purchased a brick, a 12 by 12 inch brick that will be placed on the grounds of St Jude, and I will post a picture of what that brick's going to look like. But that was only made possible, and it wasn't cheap, but that was only made possible with everybody on this channel taking time out of their day to watch those commercials, and those who were on Facebook that bought the early riser decals. And if you haven't seen those decals, you should go over to Hike a Day with Trey. I don't know if Jeff Hall still wants to do them, because man, that was taking a lot of his time, but they were really great. I bought a whole bunch of them, and I think 128 total decals were sold or something like that. So all that money came to St Jude's, and then Jeff threw in a little bit more to make it an even 400. So Trail Angel and himself, Jeff Hall, appreciate you, buddy. All the revenues from this channel will continue to go to St Jude. So if you didn't watch the commercial that started this video, please exit out of this video, go back, watch the commercial, and then fast forward back to minute 7:30, which is where we are right now. Hopefully, maybe, I don't know what's going to be after I edit it, but anyway, catch back up, and that way we can start building that revenue. Go back and watch some older ER videos. Those lessons hopefully will be timeless along my through hike. And you know, I have some visions about going back and capturing some of the bigger lessons learned as I progressed, and maybe encapsulating them all into a video that we can talk about and use for future hikers. So yeah, keep watching the videos. I'm sorry, keep watching the commercials. That money's going to St Jude to help those babies. Plan for following videos, man. I'm going to keep going through these gear review videos until I get all of it accomplished. It should be a few weeks. I'm only going to try to do one video a week, because man, I owe it to my job and to those people and to our nation to do my job without being interrupted too much with other things. So I'll do these on the weekends because I need to stay focused for those guys at work. They gave me the opportunity to go have an amazing journey, and I'm going to give them my 100% when I'm there. Alright y'all, so I'm going to go ahead and flip the camera around, walk over to the mat, and we're going to look at the big three that I started with and ended with. Yeah, sorry. There's a conversation I wanted to have real quick. I was going to do it with the camera turned towards the gear, but y'all get to look at my pretty little face a little while longer and see if Cotton's little face comes back in the door. Yeah, so keep in mind as we go through these gear lists are only, and reviews of what worked on the trail are only as good as you, the person who's uptaking the information. You have to understand who you are. You have to understand who the person is that's giving you their review. You've got to know what the gap is between you and them, and take away the lessons that apply to you. Not all of the lessons that I learned for me specifically are going to work for you. So I don't want people to go out and start rushing and buying some gear because ER or Bigfoot or you know, Spielberg or any of those guys who've been successful on through hikes. The things that work for them are probably really good lessons, not necessarily something that if you go out and buy, you'll have the same experience. So it's important that we all do a little soul searching and understand us better before we start going out and spending money on the economy. There's her little face. My gear reviews are going to be aimed at when I started, which is cold in February, and then moving into warm. But honestly, as I got to the Northeast, it started turning a little bit cool again, so I could have probably kept the same gear throughout, but that just isn't me. I like to evolve with the situations. Remember, if you're just watching this video and you didn't follow the journey along, you got to understand who I am, early riser. I'm an introvert, and I don't hide it. I'm not a fan of shelters. I don't want to stay in a shelter with a bunch of people that I don't know. It's not because I'm pretentious or I think I'm better. It's because it makes me very uncomfortable, and I probably won't sleep well at all, and I just know that about myself, so I go ahead and embrace that, and my gear kind of supports that. I'll find a stealth camp anytime I can, or I will camp around a shelter so I can have use of the accoutrement, if you will, like the privy or whatnot. But very rarely will I be in a shelter with people that I don't know. And the reasons why that's important, especially if you're vlogging, or if you're a guy who likes to stay up late or get up early. I'm a get up early guy, obviously. Man, I don't like to be around those shelters because I don't want to make other people uncomfortable either. And that's another key trait of an introvert, is they really worry about everybody else to their own discomfort sometimes. So privacy is big for me. I was vlogging when I was on the trail, so I had to do some summaries at the end of the day and stuff. And I don't like doing that around people because A, I don't want to have to ask all of them, hey man, do you mind being on video? B, they might be doing something else where they don't want to sit there listening to me running my suck all night. And then I wake up early, and there's nothing that aggravates people more who are trying to sleep than a dude who's rolling up his noisy sleeping pad or whatnot, and making coffee at 4 o'clock in the morning while they're trying to sleep. So those are all reasons why I did my through hike the way I did, and why I have gear to support that. And I spent a lot of money on my big 3, and that's because I knew I wouldn't be spending a lot of time in shelters, and I'd be in my tent most nights. So there we go. We'll go over and start doing the gear review. Okay, y'all, big 3. A hiker's most important items, in my personal opinion. So big 3 are your rucksack, your sleep system, and your shelter. Everybody who followed me knows I switch rucksacks. And people say, what's the difference between a rucksack and a backpack? Nothing. I hate the word backpack. It sounds almost juvenile to me after being in the military for so long, so that's why I say rucksack. So understand that they mean the same thing. They are synonymous. Alright, so everybody knows I start off in winter, February, and I started off with the Atmos AG65. But I also took the brain off to save room, or to save weight. Because I knew if I had that brain on, I'd be filling it full of stuff that I probably could live without. Love this backpack, but it's heavy. It's almost 4 pounds. Almost 4 pounds without even putting the first piece of kit in it. Things that are great about this pack are the anti-gravity system. I very rarely ever knew that this thing was on my back, even with 40 pounds in it. It is amazing. And the airflow behind it. Osprey's ventilation system is unbeatable. And by the way, Osprey has a ultralight pack coming out next year, which I will buy. You can believe it, because they also have the ventilation system on it. So anyway, for what I needed, the 65 liter bag, and really probably about 60 or a little bit more without the brain, served me well for all the equipment I needed in February, because it got cold. Now, I started with too much stuff, there's no doubt about it. As I started whittling it down, I realized it was probably time to go ahead and downsize rucks a little bit. Only problem I had with this ruck, as I told y'all, I had a zipper blowout on me, I think in Fontana Village. So I just got creative and kind of made just a little stuff sack out of it by using some of my bear line. And it worked out really good, actually. Bottom line for me is AG65. I probably will not use this again for any hiking applications other than maybe an overnighter or something like that. I'm glad I have it in case I want to use it for later. Probably not something I'll go back to. Great ruck. If you're using it, you probably, like me, you probably think it has a lot of benefits. But once I went down to a lighter pack, I realized I don't really need that much. So I moved to the Gossamer gear. Mariposa 60 liter ruck. I really like this ruck. For those who watch my hike knows it. I think it was Easter Sunday. I was hiking. It was hot. It was like 90 degrees or 85 or something. I was sweating to death because this, sorry for that noise, because this thing sits right up against your back and it doesn't have any airflow whatsoever on your back. Something you got to deal with. So for cold weather, this is now my backpack, because I would have loved to have this versus a lot of airflow on my back when I was going through the Smokies and other places. I would much rather have this pack. So this Mariposa is now my winter pack. 60 liters, it'll hold everything that I needed during my cold weather hikes, and I really love it. Waist belts, let's talk about those real quick. That is one of the strongest suits of this anti-gravity system for the Osprey, and this waist belt that comes with the Mariposa is almost just as good. It's fantastic. Love this backpack. I'm going to keep it. It will be my new winter weight. I'm going to buy probably the Osprey's pack that's coming out next year, the light one. That will probably move to my warm to hot weather backpacks. Everybody knows that I moved. I also used the Atmos 50 for a while on the trail. It worked good. A really nice backpack. It's got the nice airspeed ventilation system. Problem with this one to me is excuse me, the waist belt isn't that comfortable. In fact, it left some bruising on me, which is fine. It ain't that big of a deal, but comfort wise, this thing's probably only about a 5 out of a 10. Mariposa was about a 8 out of a 10, and the AG was a 10 out of a 10. That's the most comfortable thing I've ever had on. So anyway, this is an older model Osprey, so I'm not going to give it too many critiques. It served me well for what I needed, but as y'all know, as it got cooler, I went back to the Mariposa as I got to the northeast. Alright, that's it for rugs. If you got any questions, obviously post them down in the comments, and I will answer those. So the bottom line thing is you're gonna manage, especially if you're starting early, for your rucksacks, are how much room do I need? Am I taking too much just because it'll fit in my backpack? And that Mariposa 60 kind of necks it down to exactly, it limits what I can carry, but it allows me to carry just what I need. So to me, that became the good balance, and that's what I'm going to use from this point forward. Moving on to my sleep system. We'll cover the pads first. So I started with the Neo Air Trekker. Let me see here. Let me get my notes. So when I purchased it, I purchased the large size in pistachio green. It has an R value of 3.0. It's got a 75D bottom and a 50D top, so it's pretty rugged. It withstood definitely a lot of pain and torture that I can put on things. Some other items, it weighs 1.5 pounds, and the dimensions are 77 inches by 25 inches. So what I will tell you is this pad was perfect combo with my quilt right there, the enlightening equipment, which I was using during the colder weathers. I would go on Amazon and look this up, especially if you're looking for a sleep system. I'm going to call this my cold weather sleep system. Its R value was only 3.0, but man, my 20-degree quilt I took down to 0 to 10 degrees and was perfectly fine. So it was a good combination. The cons to that sleep pad is needs lots of air to blow up. It's heavy, and the nozzle kind of points up, which is weird. But I found out that was pretty good for deflating in the mornings. So go research that pad if you want to. The one that I don't have anymore is the Nemo Tensor 20. For those who remember, I used that pad when I was in Delville. I bought that and I liked it. That's when I realized that I didn't need a full length wide pad because I'm a side sleeper. So I went down to a regular size mummy pad, which is tiny for a guy my size, 6'4", and was as comfortable on that pad as I was on this one. So keep that in mind. Just because you're a big guy, if you sleep on your side, you don't necessarily need the weight or the big pad. Last, I bought the Climate, what is this, the insulated static V. I didn't mean to buy the insulated one, I meant to buy the non-insulated one. So when this got to my hotel in Lincoln, it was too late, I had to go. I didn't have another pad I could fall back on, so I carried the extra weight. And this thing is 2 pounds 1 ounce, which was heavy as heck for what I wanted moving into the whites. But it is what it is. I used it, and this is considered a 4-season sleeping pad. It's too heavy, man. For this could work just as good as the Neo Trekker. If I had to do it again, I would take the Neo Trekker still in my winter, and this one's just going to be kind of a car camping pad probably. But this one only takes about 15 to 20 breaths to fill up. This one, as y'all saw, I bought a bag to blow this one up. The bag was the Thermarest Neo Air Sack, because this one takes so much breath to blow up. This one's honestly only about 15 to 20 breaths, and it's blown up, and you can sleep on your side with no issues. So pretty good mat, just too heavy for lightweight backpacking, especially when you're climbing mountains like the Kinsman, and so on and so forth, Mount Washington and the like. So in the end, the takeaways from me: cold weather. You know, I wouldn't mind taking this one again, even though I would buy a smaller pad, probably a mummy size, because I know I'm going to be sleeping on my side, and just to reduce the weight. I think that Tensor Mummy, the Nemo Tensor Mummy that I bought, was like 1.2 pounds, so saved almost a pound on that alone. Last, quilts. So I started with my 20-degree quilt, and granted, I want everybody to know, man, I was a sleeping bag guy until this thru hike. I am not a sleeping bag guy anymore. I am a quilt guy, and I will never go back, to be honest with you, because these quilts are so versatile. So 20 degrees, I've had this, as I said, combined with my sleeping pad. I had this down to 10 degrees and below. Totally comfortable. This thing can just lay out flat like a blanket, as y'all know, or you can zip up the bottom, which is what I love about Enlightened equipment. You can zip the bottom, and it's got 2 snaps to protect your zipper, and then it's got the clips right here and the straps that go into those clips that go around your sleeping pad, and really you kind of just slide down into it once it's on your pad. Love this freaking thing. One of my favorite pieces of kit. So that was if you go watch my gear review, I go over what it is, but that's a 900 fill down. It's down tech, so water resistant down. That's the large, long. Width is large. I think it's long in length. Love it. I'm 6'4". I can get my head in there if I need to. Love it. As it got warmer, I went to the local Libra 40-degree bag. Only got this 800 fill because I figure, man, it's only getting down to 50s at night. It's a 40-degree bag. This is a well-made piece of kit too. I think Local Libre is a good company. I went for a cheaper model because I was trying to save money. People are like, why didn't you just keep your 20-degree quilt? And I'll be honest with you, I probably could have, but I also use this through hikes as an opportunity to buy more kit. AKA why I have multiple rucksacks. But in the end, this is a very good quilt. I would take this again on warmer weather with no problems. And I should have ordered, this is 800 fill, I would have ordered 900 fill again. As you can see, they have if you can see it, they have a V technology here, but there's a lot of places where I have no insulation here. And it's all piling up down here, so just easily shake that from the side and spread it back out. Could solve that. Anyway, good piece of equipment. If I had to choose one, I'm going with Enlightened Equipment Revelation. But yeah, both companies very well made. Customer service at Local Libra is great. Same thing in lighting equipment. So you can't go wrong either way you choose. All right, y'all. One thing I didn't cover outside is my tent. And anybody that has watched any of my videos knows what tent I have and will continue to have, and that's the Z-Packs Duplex. I would put that tent up against any other tent on the market. You know, the benefits of that tent, you have a lot of room inside. I slept with my pack on the inside of my tent every night, and still had plenty of room to sleep. It is a single walled, made of Cuban fiber. It is waterproof. It is extremely lightweight, right at 2 pounds or just under 2 pounds, I think, or maybe just a couple of ounces over 2 pounds. Easy to set up. You got to have both your trekking poles to set up, or you can buy 2 lightweight, I think titanium or somewhat poles, something like that, poles from Z-Packs. But I just use my trekking poles. If you break a trekking pole like I did one day, you got to find a stick that's about the same size. Not a problem. Or you can also buy the standalone poles for the tent as well and make it a standalone tent. I did not purchase those poles. They're over $100. I just risked it. You know, it becomes problematic when there's only tent platforms at a shelter, and those are like the only good camp spots, and that does happen, especially from Vermont northward. That was the case a couple of times. I just got creative and figured out a way to set my tent up on top of those things. If I had to do it over again for the winter time, I would have purchased the standalone pole system that Z-Pack sells. Because there were some nights that I was alone at a shelter, and I would have loved to set the tent up inside the shelter because it's giving you a 3-wall wind break already, and then you get inside your tent. It's also going to increase the temperature range a little bit by a few degrees. I saw other people doing that, and I was a little bit jealous because I could not do that. That was problematic. Bringing in heavy enough rocks or whatnot to those floors would have been hard. However, if you watched my day 112 video, the day before I summited Katahdin, you will see I figured out somebody had left those 2 little, I think I call them picture hangers that you can screw into the drywall or whatever and hang stuff from. Those same little lightweight things work perfectly and would work in a shelter too. So actually you could save $100 and something, go to like Walmart and purchase about 8 or 10 of those little hooks that you can just screw into the wood floor of most shelters, and you could figure out a way to set your shelter up, your Z-Packs Duplex up inside the shelter or on those tent platforms. So on a huge bunny trail there, but man, it's important to me. I love that tent. I just set it up day before yesterday to let it go ahead and air out a little bit more and make sure it didn't have any mildew or anything growing on it. I did an inspection of it, and I can't find one little hole in the screen. There's no tears anywhere. That thing looks brand new after an entire through hike. Love it. Never going back. That tent is awesome. Some of the downsides, it's single wall, so everybody says it builds up a lot of humidity on the inside. I only had that happen once or twice. Guess I just got lucky. Probably an advantage of being a winter through hiker or early spring through hiker, because the air is a little bit drier. It's very noisy when it rains, like very noisy. But after a while, and you get used to it, it's comforting, to be honest with you. So I really enjoyed the sounds of the rain hitting the tent. It can be very breezy in the wintertime. It's got 2 vestibules, one on each side of you as you're laying down. So if I'm laying here, both to my right and my left are the vestibules. That's awesome because I can get up and cook dinner on one side in one vestibule and deal with some equipment over here if I need to. But also in the wintertime when the wind's blowing and it's freezing outside, you can shut those vestibules down. It'll hold some of the heat in, but there's very good ventilation in that tent, so the wind's going to get in. So it's a bonus and a minus at the same time. in the end, I would not change that tent for anything. Everybody keeps saying, how's it holding up? Quit. Like, if you have the money to purchase this tent, there's no reason you're not purchasing this tent. All right, y'all, to summarize all this with Blossom in my lap, who won't leave me alone. Um, yeah, so the big three, obviously the most critical pieces of gear that you take hiking, where most of a good portion of your money should be spent, making sure you have the equipment that you need that's right for you, not just what was right for me or what was good for Bigfoot or Black Alaskan, but things that work for you personally. So that's going to be very important. Comments, like list your comments below, and if you have questions, put the question up front, and I will try to get back to each one of them and answer them, and at least or point you in the right direction or who I think may have a better answer. Got a lot of experience on this on YouTube now with through hikes, and from Darwin to Bigfoot to Spielberg to guys like Big Bird, who has been out 2 years in a row now and has learned a lot of stuff, and seen him evolve. I think some of us older guys are probably some good people to watch because we go in with our older mindsets, and then it's good to see people like me and Big Bird evolve, who went from boots, and we both ended up in trail runners at the end. So pretty cool. Anyway, that will sum it up. I know this was long. The next ones won't hopefully be as long. I'm not going to promise though, because I like to run my mouth, as y'all know. All right, so me and Blossom are checking out. It is 4th. Happy 4th to everybody. Thank y'all for what you do. Thank you for being you. This community is great. Still happy to be a part of it every day. All right, y'all.